Are you looking to pass your Nclex in 2025 and beyond? I'm going to tell you how you're going to pass because I'm going to share my experience with you. I just passed my Nclex at 85 questions and this is exactly what I did. Hello, in case you don't know me, my name is Gloria and I'm a current UK-based RN. Backstory, I finished nursing in 2010, so I am a registered nurse in Nigeria. I then moved to the UAE where I also became a registered nurse, and currently in the UK I am a registered nurse. And I can tell you, because I've passed Nclex, I am also a registered nurse in another country that I'm actually not yet ready to share or talk about. I know when you want to start your Nclex preparation, it is very daunting, this is very confusing, it is overwhelming because there are lots of materials, you don't know where to start. And let me tell you, I've taken few licensing exams, like you can imagine Nigeria, Dubai and the UK. Nclex is the hardest I think I've taken because it's so cumbersome. It contains all the systems, things you've never heard before, and these are like real life situation. So I took the next generation Nclex and I'm going to tell you how I passed at 85 questions. I've told you my history. It's not like I've just newly graduated from nursing. I've been a nurse now, how many years? Since 2010. You do the maths. So you can imagine that my head, my brain is now not as active as it was when I was in nursing school. If you don't know what Nclex is, let us start from the basics. Nclex is an adaptive computer-based exam that actually is done, and it is just the same Nclex, because initially I wasn't sure if there's a different Nclex for US and Australia or wherever. It is the same Nclex for the US, Australia and Canada. Right, so Nclex is an adaptive exam in the sense that it's a computerized based exam and it starts with the simple ones. If you keep getting the simple ones, it then goes to the higher questions, and if you keep failing the higher questions, it goes back to the simple ones. So it is adaptive, you just adapt to what you're doing. The minimum you're going to take now, the next generation, is 85 and the highest is 145 questions for 5 hours. So you have 5 hours to take your Nclex. My exam, my computer shut down at 85 questions. Once you get there, you've done your fingerprint. Once your exam starts, you're given breaks. So you have an option to take break 2 hours and I think about 3.5 hours in. Of course, you're not allowed to go in with water or anything, but there's water at the decks that you can just raise up your hand to get. So once 2 hours was near, I was already at 80 question-ish, and I knew that at 85 my computer is either going to shut down or I will have to continue going up to 145 questions. So once my 2 hours was near and I saw the time, I knew I had to take a break. I was torn between sitting down and just finishing it, but then I'm like, what if after this break my computer doesn't shut down? That means I'll have to then take a break and it's just a lot of process. Since my computer just went blank at the 2 hour mark because it will give you time, you know, to take a break, I thought, okay, I'll take a break. So I went to the toilet. I quickly went, like I ran, had a pee, drank water. I ate some biscuit from my locker, just got checked back in. Note that the time you're taking off your computer, your time keeps running. So by the time I got back to my desk, I think it was around 2 hours and 10 minutes because I'd already spent about over 5 minutes with the toilet and the checks. So once I sat down back, I had just few questions to go. So by the time I went to have a pee, it was about 80 questions. I kept going, and 5 questions more in, my computer just went bam, shut down, and I knew that was it. So it is either I've passed or I've failed. So how Nclex works is this. Nclex will keep giving you the chance to pass. They'll keep giving you the benefit of a doubt. So at 85 questions, if they think you've answered enough, the computer shuts down, means you've passed. Or if they think, no, this one cannot be a nurse, or no, there's no hope for you passing, don't need to waste your time, they will just shut down as well. So I was like, okay. And if you've not seen the video, I posted a video on Facebook about my exam day from going up to when I got to the exam hall. Now, I passed my Nclex. I received my results the next day, actually, like within 24 hours, my result. I got an email saying, Gloria, congratulations, you've passed the Nclex. And I'm going to tell you what I used to pass and how I passed. So I'm going to start, please. This is not a thorough actual review video. I'm just saying this, telling you how I passed. I'm going to tell you to please be very ready. Be ready before you even think of booking the exam. And those who are asking how I got to take the Nclex, is a long process that I can do in another video. You have to get authorization to test. Depending on the country you're going, if it's the US, if it is Canada, whatever country you're going to use, that country or that licensing body needs to approve you enough to say, okay, now your qualification is equivalent to their country, and they need to give you the ATT authorization to test, which will then give you the access to go to person view, pay, and be able to sit for the Nclex. I studied using only Archer. Only Archer. I bought another book which I never opened. Like, I need to actually look for the book. I bought Hesse. Because somebody recommended it. Somebody, I think she used it and she passed. And I promised you, I've never opened it. I didn't touch it. I bought it and I just kept it in my drawer. I've never opened it. It's brand new. I didn't use it because I did not have the time to actually use that. The only thing I use is Archer. And I've read so many reviews. I've watched so many videos. There's so many resources out there. There's Archer. There's UWorld. There's so many videos. But one thing I learned when I was trying to do my research is just stick to one method of study, because once you're used to that method, it just works for you. And with review, I know Archer is very good, and I would advise, I'm not saying you should, but I think Archer worked for me. I just bought the 3 months combo one for about 100 and I don't know, 100. I will leave the price. That may not be the actual price when you're buying it, because the price varies. I think 180 something or 160 something. So I bought the 3 months Archer review one, and the moment I knew I was ready was when I bought it. I make sure I had off days, because I work full time. Although I didn't take annual leaves or off days, but I knew I would have time. Mentally, I was ready to take the exam. Physically, I was ready. I know some things will suffer, like my YouTube channel suffered throughout the 3-month period that I was studying for Archer. I took this exam 3 months exactly, because when I bought Archer review, I put my exam date and it just finished, like it expired on the day of my exam, like on the evening of my exam or something like that. If you're not ready, don't even waste your time buying these materials or subscribing for them, because you will just end up wasting your money. Make sure your exam date is close enough. I would say 3 months, 6 months maximum, because at the end of the day, the things you read 6 months ago, you may not remember. For me personally, because I felt if I read too much for, let's say, 6 months continuously, I'm not going to remember, and then I will not take it seriously. But because I knew I had a date, I know I'm time crunched, I was very serious. So Archer had a calendar. I'm going to be showing you. I have my iPad here, and I'm going to be leaving screenshots on the screen. Archer has a study calendar that helped me. So the calendar has either the 6 weeks one, I'm going to be leaving the picture on the screen, or the 12-week one. There's a 12-week one. In fact, there's a 12-week one, and I think there's even a 3-week one, and it's like a crash course. Let me tell you, all those videos, or you see the videos, see it's on the screen here, week 1, week 2, it's not like I followed it exactly, but I have my printout that I'm going to attach to this video. I was making sure I was doing it. I was putting the dates. I watched all the videos. I sat down. I was writing. I had my jotter. Whatever I do know, I've never heard before. There's so many things I've never heard before. I will research. It took time. You have to read. If you do not read, I don't think you can pass, except you're a magician. I don't know. We are more intelligent than each other. But for me, if I had not read for this Nclex, I wouldn't have passed. So you need to give yourself time. I followed this 12 weeks calendar, which initially it will tell you to do 25 questions every day, but get to a place where I knew that my time was gone, because either I was working or I was on night shift. I was too tired the next day. I have family event. Look, it just got too much, and I was at the point, and then towards the end, I was having to do up to 200 questions a day. I listened to all the video. I did all the study material. There's a cheat book, he called it. I downloaded all of them. I printed some out. I read and read and read. Like, there's no shortcut. I just read. I just kept reading every day. I will do the video. Some people will say you should do it system by system. Do a video. Let's say if the video is talking about cardiovascular system, you should then go and do cardiovascular system questions. I think to some extent, I think that was restricting me, because then I already know this is cardiovascular system. Or like if it is broad. And then sometimes I felt, oh, if I had done all these videos before I took the questions, I would have known the answers, because some I feel, but then once I do watch the videos, I'm like, oh yes, now I know the questions. I didn't have enough time to go back to the questions that I was failing. According to Archer will tell you to do 4 assessments. No, keep doing the assessment as it says, but then if you get high, is it high pass 4 consecutively, I shall believe you've passed. You're going to pass very high. So what then happened to me during my time was I got very high initially, and then I got high. I then got 2 very highs. I got 1 borderline. It then reset me. At this point, I don't have enough time again. I think I had just 2 weeks or 1 week to the exam. Then I went down to borderline and I had to start again. I then started again. I got 1 very high. I got 1 high, and then I got 2 highs. I'm like, that's it. I'm no longer doing assessment, because one thing I noticed about the assessment is because there's no explanation under the assessment immediately, I'd never go back to go and read the actual questions. But once I was doing the tutorial, the questions and the explanation, it was so good, because even if I fail it, I read the rationale behind it. And then once I've done guesswork, I still go back to read the rationale behind it. That is it. Read all the rationale behind it. If you're going to use Archer, I don't know how you word or other material is. And then some people have been saying is it McClemic, something like that, prioritization video. If you see it, yes, good. I didn't have enough time. I saw the video, but I don't have the handout or something. I think there was just 1 to 3 or something like that I found randomly on YouTube. That was prioritization. So many people have testified about McClinic, but I couldn't find the material. But if you have it, good for you. You need to learn prioritization. This video is getting too long. You need to learn prioritization, and I make sure I answered all the questions. Like the 2025 questions, I answered 2000 and how many questions were there? Yeah, I made sure I answered the 2025 questions, but for both classic and the next generation. Okay, so I failed some. Obviously I omitted, let's say 5. Some were not correct, some were correct. At the end of the day, I went to exam hall and I passed. So, and then I joined, I think, a Facebook group. There's this Facebook group, or few Facebook groups that discuss, oh God, there's this guy, I'm going to leave his Facebook page on the screen. I think he's the best tutor on Facebook. Even now that I've passed Nclex, I still watch him because he's too intelligent. He explains things. I would say working in ICU also helped me, because some of the things like Graves' disease, I've just nursed a patient who had Graves' disease, Addison, Cushing, shock, all the ICU, critical care courses, and the ones that have to do with kidney, because I'm a nephrology nurse. So that is my background. I'm a nephrology nurse. I also work in ICU. So I think my years of experience also helped. So I've seen people who just do psychiatry, and if their country that they're going allows them to take Nclex, they've passed. So you can do it. If I can do it, you have no excuse, because I have my full-time job, I have my children, husband, content creation, and I passed Nclex. So you can do it. I did it at 85. My computer just shut down, and the next day I've passed. So please don't be discouraged. If you're going to use a study material, stick to it, use it. The days you're off, you have to be serious. This is not the time to now start. You can party. A day to your exam, please rest. Don't even read. Don't be tempted. I was like, I'm not gonna read again. I was done. I couldn't sleep well, but I was on my bed. I watched a movie a day to my exam, and when I was going to the exam hall, I said I was not going to go with books. I saw people at center. If I saw you that day, you were my follower. Some of you saw me, about 3 of you that you know me. How was your exam? I hope you passed. How was it? We saw each other that day. Some people were still reading there. I'm like, no, I'm not going to do that to myself. And I'm glad I didn't bother to kill myself with stress, because if I was too stressed, I wouldn't have passed. So make sure you're relaxed. Make sure you're not stressed. Make sure you study. Jot down whatever material you think you've never heard before, because there will be loads. 99% of that exam I've never heard before, or maybe I've heard but I've forgotten. I've used it to pounded yam. So the pharmacology, I didn't get any calculation, but I got loads of I think I got up to 5 case studies You know, those ones that will be like 1 to 6, and I never like those ones because they take my time. I don't like them. But you have to learn to listen and actually listen to the question and not just answer because you think. Read it, because the reason why you may fail may be because they said not, or they say except, or they say all. And be careful when you see a question that says all, an option that says all. Be very careful with those type of answers, because how can you say all? You cannot generalize most of the things in health. Be very careful. And there was also a tip. Once you see a question where two of it is complete opposite of each other, one of them is probably correct. There were some tips. Just, I'll still keep coming back to give you more tips, but maybe not on YouTube. It may be on Facebook, on TikTok. Please stay tuned, follow me, subscribe to my page, and I'll be giving you loads of tips on how I passed my Nclex at 85 questions using Just Archer. I use Just Archer and some of those maybe groups on Facebook. That there's this girl that just posts questions and I will just answer it in my head and see if I'm correct. It just helps me to, you know, keep going. At least every day I was studying, every single day, no matter how tired. In fact, during my break at work, folks want to talk to me, but no, I'm putting my earpods in. I'm trying to answer at least 15 or 25 questions on Archer, and I'm going to read the rationale. That's what I was doing every day, and that was how I managed to juggle my work and my everything without getting burnt out. I know this video looked like I've rushed through it. It's just because I don't want it to be too long. You know, your mindset is very important. During the exam, I felt like I knew most of the questions that they were asking, and at the end of the day, you're going to pass. And if you don't pass, it's not the end of the day. You now know what the problem is. Wait until you're ready, take it again, and I bet you the sky is going to be your beginning. Okay, trust the process. Don't overdo things. The reason I chose Archer is because, I don't know, people said it sounds very similar with the actual exam, which I think it was. When I was doing my Nclex, I actually felt like I was still practicing Archer, but the only thing is there was no explanation, you know. And yes, I don't think you can go back. There's a calculator on the screen. If you have any calculation, just read, and stick to one study material. Don't keep jumping about. You're going to get yourself confused. On the exam day, it is very important that you read the question like a mugu. Like, read the question as if you're a baby. If you read the question like you're a smart person or like you're intelligent, you're going to fail. Because if you're like, oh, I know what he's talking about, but no, read this every line. I had to train myself to do that. Read the whole line. You have 5 hours. I finished the exam in 2 hours and about 15 minutes. I passed. So you have 5 hours. I know you want to be quick, but you don't want to be too quick. And don't be too slow. Just give at least 1 minute or so to each question. Read each line. Read each question. Read each answer. And think about it. Don't overthink it though. Don't double get yourself. If your mind tells you that's the answer, that's the answer. Okay, I hope this video has helped you. If you have any other thing you want me to talk about, please drop your comment in the comment section. And if you've passed Nclex, let me know how you passed and how was it for you. Thank you so much for watching this video. You know I love you. You know I've got your back. And you know if I can do this, I'm here to tell you that you will do it. Thank you so much for watching. I love you to the moon and back. I will see you in my next video. Until then, take care, stay safe, and keep grinding, keep winning, and keep passing. See you later.